Welcome guys to the Meet Damien live stream. I am Damien, and in today's live stream we're going to take a look at the current buying opportunities that might be presenting themselves here with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies out there. We'll also take a look at other assets. You know, it's not just cryptocurrencies, but we can take a look at some of your stocks if you guys are interested in looking at stocks. Okay. Me currently, I am in a oil position. I'm trying to play the fact that oil prices are rising with the increasing tensions over in the Middle East. But you know, we could always talk about that any other time. That's a long-term position that I'm in for the month of February. But yeah, let's get back to looking at the Bitcoin here. Bitcoin currently trading at $68,450, down 2.3% today. And Bitcoin, as I charted out here, let me just get rid of the moving averages for now. But Bitcoin is in this rising wedge or pennant formation here that, you know, I saw, you know, in yesterday's live stream. And the idea was, you know, we could possibly see Bitcoin bounce off here and maybe try to create a higher high one more time like it did here back on Sunday when we saw Bitcoin at $72,000. But Bitcoin didn't really actually do that. Instead, we've just been doing sideways trading, and now it looks like here in the 1 hour time frame, we're creating a lower high compared to the lower high here that was here on Monday, and of course the other high here on Sunday. Okay, so now I'm starting to worry that we might be, if I zoom out here to the 4 hour chart, we might be breaking out of this potential bear flag that Bitcoin was making, and we might be seeing lower prices here for Bitcoin. Now, you know, in my last live stream and yesterday's live stream, we said that, you know, we could see the measured move, right? And this measured move is just this yellow line here, which, you know, I had it like this, right? Like a bear flag, okay? And I take this measured move, and it shows that if we were to continue dropping down on price on Bitcoin, we could see Bitcoin hit 44K. I know some people might be calling for Bitcoin to go to lower prices. Some people think it's not going to get that bad. The price action to the downside might not actually dip that low, but this is showing that the bear flag says that we could go to 44K, and 43K is an area that I already highlighted here. This red line right here is an area that I highlighted because if I zoom out to the weekly chart here on Bitcoin and I grab the VRVP data here, this is data showing that where Bitcoin was bought and sold over the last few years. There is a high volume node here at around like 43K. Okay, it's the same level, same area that people were buying Bitcoin back here in December of 2023 and January of 2024, right before the Bitcoin ETF came out. I think that's where Bitcoin might try to go later on this year if we're going to continue being bearish here on Bitcoin. But it's not all doom and gloom, okay? I don't want you to guys think it's all doom and gloom. But, you know, lower prices on Bitcoin and crypto just means that it's another buying opportunity. All right, for those who missed out on buying Bitcoin at 60K or 40K, you're getting that opportunity right now to buy Bitcoin at 60K and possibly 40K later on this year if things play out the way I think they might, according to the charts here. I'm just measuring the bear flag here, but I'm also using the VRVP data here. And the VRVP data and the bear flag are both saying like we should see Bitcoin going into the low 40s here. Low 40K area. But I don't know, you guys might have different opinions out there about Bitcoin, right? I'm a little bit curious. What do you guys think Bitcoin's going to go for the bear market low? How low does Bitcoin actually go this year? Okay, because right now we're having a hard time just being bullish and actually creating higher highs here. We were trying to make a case here on Friday and Sunday here, trying to make some higher highs here on the 1 hour chart. But this is weak sauce right here, and this is a little bit concerning that, you know, we're probably going to see low 60s, maybe even hit the 50Ks here for Bitcoin. So I don't know, guys. You tell me. What do you guys feel about, you know, Bitcoin? All right. I actually do want to get your input here, guys, because I gave my input. I don't want to just sound like I'm repeating myself here, so I really want to know what you guys are saying here. Nicholas says, "Chat, are we cooked?" I don't know. It kind of looks like we might. Andy says Bitcoin is going down again. Yep, that's what it's looking like right now. Could be buying opportunities later on. And then we also got, you know, President Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu from Israel are meeting tomorrow. And what do you think is going to come out of that meeting? Do you think they're going to be like, hey guys, everything's fine. We're not going to attack Iran or anything like that? I mean, I feel like some bad things are coming up here, and Bitcoin is kind of like sniffing that out right now. Right? That's why Bitcoin's at 68K when we saw Bitcoin at, what, 70K, what, yesterday? So, you know, Bitcoin is trending down here. It is a risk-on asset. It's not really a risk-off asset. And the risk-on, the risk that we're worried about is we could be seeing some action in the Middle East that might rock the markets here. Also, we have for tomorrow, we have a U.S. jobs report, and maybe that's not going to be beneficial to the markets. Sad to say, or it's unfortunate to say that, you know, we actually need a bad jobs report. We need people to, I don't want to say it like that, but we need there to be less jobs being created in order for the justification for them to lower interest rates, which would then send the prices of these cryptocurrencies higher, as well as the stock market. If we don't get, you know, a bad jobs report, if it's like a relatively decent jobs report, then we're not going to get any help from the Federal Reserve lowering interest rates, which is going to, you know, prevent the price of Bitcoin from going up to higher prices as well. So, yeah, it's just sad to say that we have to say that. Nicholas McClure says, if we have a bad report, the stock market is going to go to tank, and then crypto will follow suit. So by bad report, we actually want U.S. jobs report to be low or lower than expected. If they get a lot of jobs and it ends up being a good jobs report, that's actually bad for the cryptocurrencies and for the stock market, because it means that the Federal Reserve is not going to lower interest rates and help us out with that. In the long term, a good jobs report would be good, but in the short term, you know, for the markets, they might not like the fact that the United States economy is doing pretty well. So we shall see. We'll see that on Wednesday, and then we'll see an inflation report on Friday. If the inflation report on Friday shows that inflation is still an issue, then that's also going to prevent the Federal Reserve from lowering interest rates. So we got to worry about that as well this week. I see Dizzle has joined. Good to see you, Dizzle. And we have some people here on YouTube, but no one's really saying anything. You guys are keeping quiet. Keep it to yourselves here. But I appreciate you guys coming on to the live stream. And don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't done so already. We're just looking at Bitcoin on the 1 hour chart, and I'm seeing like a potential bear flag here on Bitcoin, which could be breaking out to the downside. You know, making lower highs here on the 1 hour time frame, not going to help make the case for Bitcoin to go to higher price, right? How can you go to higher prices if you're making lower highs? So now I'm starting to worry about, you know, where could Bitcoin go next? And I think we might see low 60Ks here later on this week if we're going to continue, you know, just petering out and making lower highs here. And obviously we have to make lower lows at some point if we're going to, you know, continue making lower highs here. Let's see. MACD. What is the MACD showing on the 1 hour time frame? MACD is not looking promising here. It's looking like Bitcoin wants to go down now. You know, Wall Street is actually closing up shop right now. It's 4 p.m. It's 4:46 p.m. East Coast time, which is, you know, the same time that Wall Street goes home for the day at 4 p.m. And if they're not around to buy Bitcoin, who's left to buy Bitcoin? I feel like, you know, with them going home for the day and Bitcoin near the lows for the day, we might, yeah, we might not be able to see Bitcoin go to higher prices later on tonight. So look at this, the MACD. We're getting a MACD crossover to the downside. You see that blue line crossing the orange line to the downside here. And this is leading me to believe that we should probably be looking for a short on Bitcoin if that's what you're interested in doing here. Okay. And we might see some buying opportunities later on. Maybe we see Bitcoin at 66K or 65K, somewhere in the mid 60s. And, you know, they're never going to make it easy. We're not going to just drop down to 60K or below 60K. There will be some buyers that will try to take a shot at Bitcoin at 65, 66K, and then we might see a a V-shaped recovery out of that area. But yeah, right now this is just looking like distribution on Bitcoin as we start making lower highs here. Okay, I'm not really into the Wyckoff theory, but I have seen what the chart kind of looks like with distribution and accumulation, and it just looks like we're kind of doing distribution right now of Bitcoin at 70K, and looks like we have to go down to 60K to get people interested in buying Bitcoin again. All right, we lost a little bit of the rally, the steam that we had on Friday and Saturday this weekend, and it looks like Bitcoin just can't get above 70K and get people excited to continue buying some more of it. So that's why we're down at 68K right now. Let's see. At Atal Khan says, bro, can you check out Solana? You bought today at 84. All right, we'll go ahead and take a look at Solana. I think Solana was right now it's down 5%. It's down further than Ethereum and Bitcoin, which are the other two big high market cap cryptocurrencies, and it's even down further than XRP as far as percentage wise goes. Solana is definitely going into buying opportunity territory here. Let's see. I'm on the 1 hour time frame. Solana just looks like it's been trading sideways, right? In between like 82 bucks and 88 bucks here. I think we did get as high as like $89 here on Friday, but this thing is looking like a bear flag, unfortunately. If I was to draw this out right now, you kind of see the bear flag formation here. And if this is like the flagpole on this flag for Solana, you just take this measure move here, and it shows you like where Solana could go next. And look at this. Solana could head down to 56 bucks here. See the blue number right there, $56.04. It's next to this red number, $57. And where did I get this red number, this red horizontal line? Well, I've actually looked at the chart already on Solana. If I zoom out to the weekly chart here, okay, and I pull up this VRVP indicator here, you're gonna see that there's some high volume nodes here to look for on Solana. And there's a high volume node here at $57. Solana could head to $57. I don't want to scare you. I know you just bought it at 84 bucks, but you might be able to buy some cheaper Solana later on. Give it some time. I'm not sure if it's going to happen this week or next week, but maybe in the next few weeks, in the next few months here, you might see Solana at $57, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Okay. So that bear flag that I just showed you was showing you that we could go down to like 57, 56 bucks. And then the VRVP indicator is saying that we could go down to 57, 56 bucks. And VRVP indicator is just indicating for those who don't look left, right? But you should be looking left. And you'll see that there's some sideways trading action here at like 57, 56 bucks. Back here in November of 2023 and December of 2023, Solana was trading at like 57, 56 bucks. So these people right here, they are going to help you stay above 56 bucks until they start panic selling, because right now, whoever bought here in November and December, they could sell their Solana right now at $82 and still be in profit. But once we get down to like 56, 57 bucks, they're not going to sell their Solana because they'll just be at break even. What's the point, right? You're at break even. But they might actually start selling if we lose $57. If we lose $57 on Solana, then there is some volume here at 43 bucks. But even more volume at like 25, and then this blue line here at 20 bucks. Jeez, if Solana goes back there, that's like, I bought Solana myself back in 2022 when it was at like 20 bucks and 25 bucks. I think the last time I bought Solana was October 2023 when it was at 33 bucks. So I've already sold my Solana, so I won't be pushing the price down on you. Okay, I already did that back in November and December of last year. But yeah, Solana could end up coming down to like 20 bucks at some point. Maybe that's going to be the bear market low for Solana. That'd be very unfortunate because you basically, whoever bought here and didn't sell at the top, or you know, anywhere near 150 to 200 bucks here, looks like Solana could do a round trip. That would suck. Right back to 20 bucks where it was in 2023. Sierra says you're going to be watching that $50 level and see how the market reacts. Okay, yeah. I mean, I think the $50 level is a very interesting level for Solana. Okay, I already highlighted it here. You got a high volume node on the VRVP indicator here. There's also previous price action at that area back here in November 2023. But let me get back into the daily chart here. And then this bear flag that I already pointed out to you shows that we could break down and head to $57 here for Solana. Okay. I wish I could create a bullish case here. Maybe this doesn't happen and we actually climb our way out of here. And if we do climb our way out of here, there is some high volume here at 100 bucks. Psychological number, right? You got a high volume node here between like 100 and 105 bucks here. I feel like some people who missed out on selling their Solana at 100 bucks, if we do see Solana at 100 bucks, they'd be like, all right, I gotta get out of Solana at 100 bucks, and they might click that sell button. All right. Even if you were to buy Solana right now at 80 bucks, which I know this guy did say he bought it at 84 bucks. Maybe not exactly, but going back up to like 100 bucks is like almost like a 25% gain. Like if I was to measure this out right now and you were to buy Solana here at 82 bucks and take it up to like 101 bucks here, that's like a 22% gain right there. That's decent for a lot of people who are in this just to trade and they're not really investing in Solana. Okay. But that guy that bought at 84 bucks earlier, let's see, $84 here, and we go up to like 100 bucks here. It'd be like an 18% gain if Solana does get up to like 100 bucks for you. Sierra says during market hours is pulling back right now. What's pulling back right now? Is Bitcoin pulling back? Because I know we were seeing Bitcoin pulling back earlier. Bitcoin's at 68,600. I think it's at the same price as when I first started this live stream. Lex says those are the most retarded trend lines he's ever seen in his life. I mean, I could always make it more retarded than this if you want to, but yeah. I was just looking at the 1 hour time frame on Solana, and these are the trend lines that I was drawing right here from here to here. Okay, and then we got the top side here. But yeah, I mean, if you think it's the retarded, I could always make it more retarded, right? I could do this like that, that looks very retarded, right? But yeah, Solana obviously looks like it's in the bear flag and it could break out to the downside, just like Bitcoin. And if I go back to Bitcoin, you'll see the same thing here. This was the trend lines that I drew out for Bitcoin, and yeah, this is a potential bear flag. This was like a rising wedge here for Bitcoin. All right, but it looks like we're just petering out and we're about to fall down here on Bitcoin. And I already drew out this potential bear flag for Bitcoin, right, has a target where we could see Bitcoin go down to 44K. All right, 44K is basically the same area where the Bitcoin ETFs were getting involved in January 2024. It actually kind of makes sense to me that we could go down to 44K or even 43K here. Andrea says Bitcoin dropped tonight. It looks like Bitcoin might do that tonight. If I go into the MACD indicator here, you can see the momentum for Bitcoin is waning. It's dropping. Okay, we got the buying pressure is selling off. Buying pressure is dying off here. We're starting to get a little bit of a red candle here in the 1 hour time frame, and we're about to get a MACD crossover to the downside, which means that we should see some more red candles here for Bitcoin. So yeah, I think Bitcoin is going to drop down later on tonight to lower prices for some more buying opportunities for whoever wants to get involved in Bitcoin. Thank you, Andreas, for following me here on TikTok. AHFM wants me to take a look at NEO, and then Mahal wants me to take a look at QNT for a a long-term play. Okay, I got you. Let me go ahead and write these things down so I don't forget. So we gotta look at NEO, and then look at QNT. And Sierra says, am I using the RSI at all? Sometimes I do. I like to use the RSI to figure out, you know, if we're oversold on whatever time frame that I'm on. I like to look for bearish and bullish divergences. And I got the RSI right here, right? On the 1 hour time frame. I'm not sure if there's anything in particular that you want to look at for the RSI. There might be a potential bearish divergence forming here on Bitcoin because we're making lower highs here. We got the high here on Sunday, and then another lower high here, and then what? Another lower high here on Tuesday. So, and this was after we were making higher highs here on the price. Looks like the bearish divergence could be playing out here for Bitcoin. That's no bueno. Okay. So yeah, that's what I would get out of looking at the RSI for Bitcoin and crypto here, is that we're making a bearish divergence, and we're doing bearish divergence while also in a bear flag. Yeah, I think Bitcoin wants to go down, not up. All right. Okay. So with that being said, we got to take a look at NEO. Let's go ahead and look at those requests here. I'm looking at NEO on Binance. Do I really want to look at it on Binance? This is like kind of like, there's a lot of gappiness here. There's a lot of gap up, gap down, gap up, gap down. Let me see if I can find another exchange here. NEO. What exchange do you trade NEO on? Just maybe I can find it. Oh well, they got NEO on Kraken here. I don't really see too many exchanges trading NEO here. Maybe NEO on OKX. Let's see if it looks better on that chart. Alright, this chart looks a little bit better here on OKX, NEO. NEO is currently trading at $2.61. Let's go into the daily time frame here. Oh my god. Definitely looks like a cryptocurrency to me. Looks like an old coin for sure. Dropping like a rock, going down and to the right, making money for the shorts and the bears out here, and it's been doing that since December of 2024. We saw this thing as high as, oh my god, it really did get up that high. So your best time to get out of this cryptocurrency was at December of 2024, when this was at like 26 bucks, and now you're like 90% below that. So good job, NEO, for losing all this money over the last couple of years here. Making money for the bears, making money for the shorts out there. What can I do with this chart? Well, I'm going to go ahead and fire up the moving averages now. And you'll see that I use the 200, the 100, the 50, and the 21 EMA. The 21 EMA is this white line. This 21 EMA, exponential moving average, has been a problem and been like a bully. Right? Every time we come up to it, we get pushed down into the locker. They push us back into the locker here. You can see that we can't actually sustain ourselves above the 21 exponential moving average on the daily time frame. There's a few times where we actually get above it for a few days here, like here in November, but then we lose it. And then we come back up to it, and we get rejected. We come up to it, we get rejected, come up to it. Had something going on here in January when we had that little bit of a relief rally here on Bitcoin. And now you're getting rejected one more time. I'm expecting if this thing does start climbing up to higher prices, you're going to get rejected by the 21 EMA, and that's currently sitting at $3.22. So I think at $3.22, you're going to get rejected. You could try to, enter a long right now and take profit at $3.22, and I think that's what you're going to get for a move on the long here. And then I would look for maybe entering a short on NEO at $3.22. Let's see what the MACD is showing here. MACD on the daily time frame is showing that selling pressure is still an issue. And every time like selling pressure starts dying down, it increases. It dies down and then it increases again. And it looks like it's trying to die down, but I mean, what's the case so far? It dies down only for it to start increasing again. So I would expect that to happen to Neo here. Hate to be bearish, but you know, if I wasn't bearish, then I would be completely lying to you about my thoughts about this crypto. And I don't think I'd be doing you any service if I was to tell you that, oh yeah, we're definitely bullish here. The only thing I can make for a bullish case is that you're coming down to the October 10th liquidation event here, where this thing got as low as like 237. Maybe if you want to take a chance. Oh, we already came down here to 237. Looks like on Friday we came down to 241. So what you could do is you could try to like maybe buy Neo when it gets to like 240, 237. Put your stop loss really tight at like 233, somewhere in that area. And if you get stopped out, you're getting stopped out for a small loss. But maybe if this thing does bounce off, maybe the $2.37 or $2.41 level holds here for Neo. But I mean, you're taking chances here. I think this thing wants to continue going down. A lot of these cryptocurrencies are going to be going to zero or closer to zero, especially with Bitcoin falling, you know, and dropping down in price. Yeah, it seems unbelievable that some of these cryptocurrencies that are down 90% could go down another 90%, but I've seen that before in cryptocurrencies. I've had that happen to me, where I bought a crypto that was down 90%, only for it to then go down another 90% from where I bought it at. And it just befuddles me that something can do that, but these cryptocurrencies, they're capable of doing that. Don't think that just because it went down 90% that you're getting a good deal. You could see it go down another 9% from where you bought it at, and then it becomes an even better deal for someone later, but not you. All right, thank you, Dyke Led, for following me here on TikTok. Do I have contact information, Javi? You left me a message on TikTok. Yeah, we can talk later on TikTok. I also have a Meet Damien Twitter, okay, and I also have a Meet Damien Discord. This is the Discord channel here, where I, announce when I'm going live. All right, and then we, I share my thoughts and opinions here about crypto, along with other day traders out here that are following me and watching me here. And this is where we keep the conversation going when I'm not live streaming here. Okay. To get that, you just go over to TikTok like you're on right now, and if you go to my bio. Thank you guys for following me here. I'm getting a bunch of followers. I appreciate that. But if you go over to my bio, there's me, the Meet Damien page. Hopefully you're following me right now. Okay, make sure you're following the real Meet Damien. You are listening to Meet Damien right now, so you should be following me. And then click on this link tree, and that should bring you over to here, where you can do the Meet Damien Discord, which is free to join. And then there's also a Meet Damien Twitter. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Okay, even got a Meet Damien Facebook as well. But yeah, this is my link tree right here. Okay, so that's how we can stay in touch. Multiple ways to stay in touch here. All right, let me go back into the charts here. We're gonna take a look at Quant, QNT. And just bear with me, guys. I have a YouTube and a TikTok live stream, and I have to go through the comments on both of them. But I promise I will try to read the chat as much as I can while also doing your requests here. Quant currently trading at $68.69. Quant is also bearish as well because you're below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50, and the 21 EMA. So I would have to have a bearish bias until Quant actually gets above the 200-day moving average, which is that red line. It has a lot of work to do. That red line is currently sitting at $89.36. If you can do that, then I can be bullish on this crypto. But you lost this 200-day. I mean, you came back up to it right here in December, and then bearishly back tested it and lost it. Okay, and then Quant here, looks like you were doing fine throughout 2025 here. Got a little bit of a scare here in June, but yeah, you've been above the 200-day moving average for the most part throughout 2025, and then you started losing it here in September, and then definitely here in October, and then you bearishly back tested it again here in November, And now we are, for damn sure, we're below the 200-day moving average, and we're also below the 21 EMA. Now, the 21 EMA, this white line, is acting as, gonna act as resistance for now until we can get above it, right? That 21 EMA sitting at $71.41. Get above that, and then we can try to make our way back up to the 50, and then the 100. The 50 is at 78 bucks, and the 100 is at $83. I think those are areas that we need to try to conquer and reclaim for us to be more bullish here on quant. All right, but just know that, you know, as we start climbing up to these moving averages, it could initially knock us back down before we're able to punch our way back up to higher prices here. All right, let's see. XRP price target 88 cents is what Andreas is saying. You have a Bitcoin price target of 44K. Michael says, this is gambling. Good luck, buddy. Hey, you know, I gambled 4 years ago by buying Solana at like 13 and 16 bucks when FTX went bankrupt. And then I continued gambling by selling my Solana at $200 when it hit $200 for the first time. And, well, not the first time, but the second time in 2024. And then we saw Solana go up to like 230 bucks and 260 bucks, and I was selling my Solana. So I was gambling my Solana the past couple of years, and I done all right for myself. And before that, I was gambling by buying Ethereum at like 100 bucks in 2017, and you know, I bought Ethereum at like 200 bucks in 2018. And then I continued gambling by selling my Solana at $3,800 in 2021. And I bought myself a house. So, you know, I guess some people are lucky with the gambling. But anyways, let's see. Andreas, what did you say? You wish something good luck with tonight? Oh, thank you, Andreas. And Andrea says, life is gambling. It's all risky. Wait for the bill for not gambling. It's called inflation. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that it seems like, you know, with inflation and the way they run the economy, we almost have to do this, you know, gambling or legalized gambling just to get ahead, you know, in life. Because if you don't, then you're just going to watch your money start getting eaten away by the prices going up. I mean, that house that I bought in 2022 is like almost a couple $100 grand higher than what it was when I bought it. That's 4 years later. So like if I waited, I would have been paying more money. So thank you to myself for actually buying that house when I did. And yeah, now inflation is kind of working for me by making my house worth more money as the years go by. Buy Bitcoin or wait, says Sheesh. Sheesh. I think Bitcoin is actually going to go lower later on tonight. It's at 68,580 right now. I think when I started the live stream, it was at like 68,700. So it's on its way down. And we already looked at Bitcoin. It looks like it's in a bear flag. It looks like you know, it's in distribution mode right now. And I think, yeah, you could wait and buy Bitcoin. I mean, if you're anxious, if you don't have any Bitcoin, then you could try to buy some now, right? At 68 grand. We're gonna go back into this again on Bitcoin. You could try to buy now if you want to, because, you know, who knows? Maybe 60K was like the low in this bear market that Bitcoin's been in since October. Okay, but I wouldn't go crazy, and this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. You got to, you know, buy the Bitcoin and sell it on. You're the one that's pushing that button, not me. And if you need a financial advisor, you got to go find a financial advisor, because I'm not that guy for you. But from what I've seen with Bitcoin and crypto, usually with Bitcoin in these 4-year cycles, which I am a believer in. Okay, I'm not going to try to pretend like we're in a 5-year, 6-year cycle, super cycle. I'm not going to try to pretend like cycles don't matter, because for some reason they still do with Bitcoin. But like with the Bitcoin 4-year cycle, usually after Bitcoin makes an all-time high, a year later is the bear market low. So a lot of people, including myself, are thinking that Bitcoin might reach its lowest price sometime in October of this year, because we topped out in October of last year. So you could try to wait till then and try to get the extreme lows, the bear market lows at that point. But if you're anxious to get involved in Bitcoin, don't let me stop you. You know, 68K sounds pretty decent. Earlier last week, you know, 60K Bitcoin and 62 were. I was telling people that 63K, it actually makes sense to buy Bitcoin at 63K because the all-time high was at 126K for Bitcoin. And if you buy it at 63K and Bitcoin goes back up to 126K like we saw here in October, then you're going to basically double your money in Bitcoin. So I think 63K makes sense. If you want to wait for Bitcoin to go just a little bit lower towards 63K, you know, put in your buy limit bid orders in. So that way, you know, it can execute even if you're sleeping or if you're away from the computer or whatever. Bitcoin will, you know, the exchange will buy the Bitcoin for you at 63K. And then, you know, at 126K, which we know Bitcoin did a few months ago, you'll be able to double your money if that's what you want to do. Okay. But I think, you know, for those who are more patient, you might see like, you know, 50K or 40K here on Bitcoin. And that might not be this week or this month. It might be maybe next month or the month after that. But we could see, you know, 40K Bitcoin, and then you'll be even more happier to buy it at that price. She says, thoughts on Cardano. All right, let me go ahead and do you want just my thoughts on Cardano, or you want me to look at the charts? Because usually we look at the charts here, but I can take a look at Cardano on the charts, and I can also give you my thoughts about it. I think Cardano is a worthwhile cryptocurrency to get into. I don't know if it's as strong as Ethereum and Solana, because I know Ethereum and Solana made new all-time highs this past cycle. I don't know if Cardano actually did that, but let's take a look at it here on the charts real quick here. All right, so Cardano currently trading at 26 cents. Let me just go into the monthly chart here. Did Cardano... I'm looking at Coinbase. I probably should need to look at another exchange here. But like back here in 2021, Cardano was as high as like $3.09. So Cardano never actually made a new all-time high like Solana did in 2025 and Ethereum did, and also Bitcoin. So it's not that strong of a cryptocurrency like those other ones that I just mentioned. Okay, we only saw Cardano get as high as like $1.32 in December 2024, not even last year. And I'm looking at the monthly time frame here, the monthly chart. These are all monthly candles. Every candle represents 1 month here. And since, you know, December 2024, you know, Cardano was making lower highs here, not really being bullish like it needs to be. And then of course here in October, when Bitcoin was dropping like a rock, so did Cardano. Okay, so it's unfortunate, like, you know, Cardano is not able to benefit from, you know, price appreciation. And then when Bitcoin actually drops down, Cardano gets punished, you know, just as bad, if not worse, than Bitcoin. So, you know, it's unfortunate to see that. That's why some people would pick Bitcoin over Cardano, because Bitcoin did make new all-time highs, and then Bitcoin didn't drop down as violent as Cardano did. All right, but I'm looking at the charts here. I don't know if you want any more thoughts on this or any more analysis on it. Yakopath says he's long. What are you long on, Yakopath? And then we have a guy here asking about XRP. Sure, we can definitely take a look at XRP. All right, what is going on here? No, we do not want that. Norton, get out of here, Norton. All right. All right, there's a guy that's advertising here. I need to go ahead and mute him. Yeah, you're getting mute. Oh, I'm not able to mute him? If I'm not able to mute him, then I'll go ahead and block him then. Don't be advertising here that you're going to give money to people if they come and join your channel, whatever. Thank you, Al Pacino, for following me here on TikTok. Let me just zoom back into the daily chart here for Cardano. And I'll give you my closing thoughts here on Cardano. So Cardano's bearish, right? Below the 200, 150, and the 21 EMA. You got to get above the 21 EMA to start making a bullish case here for Cardano. And that's sitting at 31 cents. If you can climb up to 31 cents, then maybe you can get up to this 100-day, this 50-day, and this 100-day moving average. And that's sitting at 40 cents and then 51 cents. If you do get up to 51 cents, you're now making a case where you start to make higher highs than these previous highs here. Okay? But yeah, you need to start seeing bids start showing up here for Cardano. If not, I would expect Cardano to get rejected off the 21 EMA, like it's already been getting rejected, and that's sitting at 31 cents. So 31 cents is very crucial for Cardano right now. Other than that, I mean, you could probably still go to lower prices here on Cardano. Alright, moving on from Cardano, we're going to take a look at XRP. Oh man, I gotta get rid of this. Yeah. I have looked at XRP previously before. And this is some old chart work here that I gotta get rid of. But XRP currently trading at $1.39, down 2.82%. And I guess your thought is, you know, how much lower could how much lower could XRP go so you can go buy some more XRP, right? Well, if I turn on the VRVP indicator, this is showing data going all the way back to like September of 2024, almost like a couple of years ago. We do have a high volume node here at $1.12. I think we already hit that. We already hit that level there on Friday. So I guess XRP could revisit the $1.11, $1.12 level, and if that doesn't hold here for XRP, then there's not much support until you get down to 64 cents, and then also right over here at 58 cents, which is basically where XRP was trading at back here in August and September of 2024 before Donald Trump got elected and things started taking off here for XRP. So yeah, $1.12, $1.11 needs to hold here for XRP, or else there could be a bloodbath in XRP. And XRP right now currently trading at $1.39. You're already at another kind of high volume node here at the $1.45 area for XRP. If you can make it past the $1.45, then it gets a little bit easier to go to higher prices here. And we got a value area low sitting at $1.80, 82 here, $1.82. But then also you got a 21 EMA at $1.67. Man, wow. So XRP could climb up and get up to this, I'm going to get rid of the VRVP indicator, but we could climb up to this 21 EMA before we get rejected at $1.67. So I think $1.67 and $1.80 is where I would try to de-risk and take some XRP off the table if you're worried about your XRP bags here. Okay, if you're a short-term trader, I would try to take profit at $1.67 or $1.80 here. But, you know, XRP also looking bearish as well, right? You're below all the moving averages right now in the daily time frame. You're also making lower highs here compared to the highs that you did in November and October of last year. And of course, you've made lower lows. We've never seen XRP this low in 2025. You know, XRP at this price, you would have to go back to like 2024. I think some people mentioned that XRP is back at the same price you could have got it at when Donald Trump got elected in 2024. So, yikes. You know, it's like we lost all the progress that we made in 2025 here. And basically did a round trip for XRP. Let's see. No, I do also talk about stocks, Ariel Malachi. If you want to talk about stocks, let me know what stock you want me to look at. This guy says he wants to look at gold. Okay, we can take a look at the price of gold. Long-term traders, should you just hold for 2040? Yeah, I mean, there's going to be buying opportunities probably in 2026 here for crypto. So if you're able to add to your positions here on your cryptocurrencies, I think 2026 is going to create some more buying opportunities for crypto. I think Bitcoin, we might see Bitcoin at 40K later on this year. I'm not sure when, but I'm pretty sure it's going to probably be later on this year. Okay? That's where I would be interested in buying Bitcoin, is at 40K. Because if you buy Bitcoin at 40K, just think about that for a second. If you buy Bitcoin at 40K and it goes right back to the all-time highs of 120K, you're gonna triple your money with Bitcoin. So I think a lot of people are gonna catch on to that, and they're gonna actually try to buy Bitcoin at 40K if they can. All right, we gotta look at gold. All right, so we're now looking at the price of gold, currently trading at $5,023, down 0.69%, down 34 bucks here. And for my cryptocurrency guys, you can buy gold on the cryptocurrency exchanges. They have a coin called PAXG, and then there's like another one called XAUT. So, you know, don't feel like, you know, oh my God, Daniel's talking about gold. How are we gonna benefit from that? You can actually buy gold on the cryptocurrency exchanges. But anyways, yeah, gold was in this uptrend, and if it continued on that uptrend, you know, it looked like we were going to head to like $6,000 by the middle of February here, but nope, gold didn't do that, unfortunately. What gold did end up doing, though, oh, let me get rid of that. I didn't mean to get rid of that. I was trying to get rid of this yellow line, this uptrend. But yeah, what gold ended up doing here was going up to like 5,598. And I drew this Fibonacci here, so I figure out what the levels are to look for gold, just using the Fibonacci here. And we've already hit the 618 golden pocket. We actually came even further down to the 0.382 and was challenging the idea of coming down to the 0.236 at $4,200 here. Gold is actually the opposite of Bitcoin, the opposite of crypto. Gold is very bullish. You're about the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and the 21 EMA. Okay, and there was a time when you were really above that 21 EMA. This was a good time to try to short gold. All right, and there's ways to do that by looking at the small time frames to figure out, you know, if the momentum is falling off, if you're making lower highs on like the 5-minute and 50-minute time frame. Was an idea to entertain the idea of shorting gold. Right now, I would probably still hold on to the idea that gold is going to climb up to higher prices here. We could climb up to this $5,200 level, which is your 786 retracement here. And yeah, let's see what the momentum's like for gold. Can it continue to go up to higher prices here? On the MACD, you can see that we did have selling pressure recently over the last couple of weeks here. That brought gold down to lower prices, but you can see that the selling pressure is starting to die off here with these pink candles. You see that we had solid red candles here, but now we're getting pink candles here on the daily time frame. If this trend continues, you're going to start seeing the selling pressure dying off. You can see the price rise up, and eventually maybe you'll get a MACD crossover to the upside on the daily time frame, which would indicate that gold is not done going up. Okay. Right now on the daily time frame for the RSI, gold is not overbought. Like, we were definitely overbought towards the end of January here, where the RSI was like 89, but then we got that sharp drop down on the RSI and the price, and we're creating some higher lows here, and also a little bit of higher highs action going on here too. So gold, right? This might have been just another buying opportunity before gold goes up to higher prices. I think we'll see $5,200 gold. I think we might even see 5,590 all over again for gold. Now, when we come up to 5,590, you know, then there might be an idea where gold could do a double top, and then that's be a good area to try to short gold if you're able to do that. But another thing I'm a little bit worried about with gold is that we could climb up to 5,200, make a lower high at 5,200, not actually get up to like 5,500. And, you know, if that's the case, then that would be another opportunity to try to short gold, is at 5,200. So play as you wish, as you want to. Just be on the lookout for these key levels here. 5,200 could be where gold kind of rolls off and it goes to lower prices, or maybe we just come back up to the all-time high and then maybe make a double top on gold here. All right, Ariel Malachi, you want me to take a look at a stock? You're in CCHH. You went in on that about a month ago. Okay, I can do that. Thank you, Crime Bites, for following me here on TikTok. Appreciate that. So we gotta look at CCHH for my buddy Ariel over here. CCH Holdings, looks like it's on the NASDAQ here. Oh man, what is going on here? This is interesting. This thing is trading at a, well, it was trading at $1.19, and then after market, you're up 42%. What is up with that? That is crazy. That is some crazy price action. What does this thing do? It's involved in restaurants here. So if I go over to the profile here, it says CCH engages in operating a chicken restaurant. It offers catering services in Malaysia. It was founded in 2024 and is headquartered in Seberang, Malaysia. Okay, that's very interesting. How did you find out about this stock? I'm curious. But it looks like it started trading on the NASDAQ here in October of last year, so this is relatively brand new. I don't really have that much data to go off of, but this thing looks like it was starting to catch the bids here towards the end of November, and then you topped out here in December 11th at $15.39. And I don't even know if it makes sense for me to do a Fibonacci on this. What I will do is I'll do a VRVP indicator here. I'm going to turn that bad boy on. It's this thing over to the right. And wow, it looks like the majority of people that have been buying and selling the stock, they've been buying it like right over here where this blue line's at, 60 cents. So right now, with us being at $1.20, they've already doubled their money. And now looks like after market, we're at $1.70. Man, how did you find out about this one? Because this, I mean, the buying opportunities were here towards like the end of December and going into January. All of January was a good time to like accumulate here. And now this thing is just gapping up here. Did they have an earnings report? No, what is this thing doing? I'm just waiting for you to tell me, did they have an earnings report? Because this stock is, it's at $1.70 right now, but it finished today earlier, you know, when the stock market closed, it was at $1.19. And then even like what, yesterday you went up 135% on Monday. Today's what? Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesday the 10th. And then yesterday it went up 135% yesterday. That's insane. That's insane. Let me get back in the chat. See what you have to say about this. You said it crashed because it was overpriced. Okay, that makes sense. Albi says, should I keep dumping cash into XLM? I'm not a financial advisor. I can't give you financial advice. But what I know about Bitcoin and crypto is that when Bitcoin goes down in price, the rest of the cryptocurrencies go down as well. So you might be able to buy XLM at cheaper prices as Bitcoin continues dropping here. Ariel says they got a notice from the SEC about a $1 mark that they need to fit in. Bless me, man. Aubrey McKinney says, what's the best stocks to put money into? Guys, like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. Some of these questions you guys are like asking me is like, you know, what's a financial advisor would be able to better tell you that. They know your personal situation. I don't. But I think, you know, with the way the economy is going, I know oil has taken a beating, and we are probably going to get some events going on in the Middle East that might push the price of oil up. So maybe oil stocks might be something to look at. The technology AI stocks have been good the last 3 or 4 years, but some people are saying that they might actually be overpriced. I don't know if technology and AI is good right now. They might need to cool down a little bit. Healthcare stocks usually do well no matter what, whether the economy's good or bad, so that might be something that you want to look into. But yeah, I don't know your personal situation, so I can't really tell you like what stocks to put your money into. And you're saying that you kind of get it, you just trying to figure out which ones to put your money. Yeah, see, usually you want to buy low and sell high. Very easy to say, but it's hard for some people to do because of fear and greed. I know me personally, my situation, I've been looking at trying to buy Rocket Mortgage because I know interest rates have come down, and they'll be benefiting from people buying houses and also refinancing their mortgages. I know there's some people out there that have like 7% mortgages, and now you could probably get like a 5% or 6% mortgage, which saves you money. And I think Rocket Mortgage is going to be a benefactor of that. So I was buying Rocket Mortgage the last couple of months in like November and December of last year. So, and I've been up on that position since then, because I think the market's starting to catch on that Rocket Mortgage might be worth getting into. And then I've also been trying to get into like the Russell 2000, because with lower interest rates and a better economy, the stocks that are in there are going to benefit from just a better economy and lower interest rates. And I think money might start moving from the technology stocks into like the Russell 2000. All right, let's see. We did have someone else that did put another request in here. Aubrey McKinney, you say you have Webull? Okay, that's what you trade on? Or do you actually own Webull, the stock? Zafar wants to take a look at the silver chart. I'm sorry, buddy. I must have missed your comment there. We did take a look at gold. Let's go ahead and take a look at silver now. I mean, still, the silver chart looks very similar to the gold chart, where you topped out here towards the end of January, and you had that significant steep drop here. Silver actually is not as bullish as gold, right? Because I could see that the silver price actually dropped down below this white line, this 21 EMA here, whereas like gold is actually above its 21 EMA. All right, but maybe that just means that silver's relatively undervalued, because if gold's going to climb up, if the narrative is that the precious metals are going to go higher to higher prices, then maybe silver is a better buy than gold right now. Right now, let's see. Let me get rid of the VRVP indicator for now. But right now, we're kind of hanging out near this 0.5 retracement at $83. I think if we're going to climb up to higher prices, we could get resistance off this 21 EMA at $92. $92 is also confluent with the 618 golden pocket here. So I think your target to the upside on silver is $92 at this moment. And then we'll see if we can actually maybe punch our way up to higher prices and actually get back into the 100s. We got a 786 retracement at $105 here. That could be where silver, climbs up, right? So let's say silver climbs up, maybe goes sideways here at the 21 EMA, then launches up to like higher prices at $105, and then maybe tops out at 105 and then comes down to lower prices here. And if you see that on silver, where we come up to $105 and we're not able to challenge the all-time high of $121 here, then guess what? You just created a lower high. Might be time to actually enter a short on silver if it does get up to that area. But this is just figuring things out. Like we've seen silver do some crazy things here over the last 6 months now. And it wouldn't surprise me if we actually top out at $105, make a lower high, and then drop down, maybe to some of these moving averages below us at like the $63 level where that 50-day moving average is at. I mean, we almost came down to that level. Yeah, we front ran the 50-day moving average here on Friday, February 6th here. So we shall see. We shall see. I think silver will make more volatile moves than gold. It's always been like that. So, if gold rises, silver will probably rise, and we'll do it faster and more furious than gold. But then when gold drops down in price, silver is also going to drop down in a faster and more furious fashion, like you saw here on January 30th when silver dropped down 26%. Has that ever happened in the history of silver? I don't think so. Maybe it did. But like 26% is a lot for an asset that's supposed to be stable. Like silver used to be trading at like $20 for like the longest time, like 4 or 5 years ago. I know I bought some silver bars and coins myself in 2020 during COVID-19. pandemic scare, I bought some silver at like $14 a coin, and it just stayed at like 14, 15, 20 bucks for like the longest time all throughout the last few years here. It wasn't until last year that we started catching the bids here on silver and going exponential. I actually did sell some of my silver coins last summer at $34, only because I doubled my money. I mean, come on, I can't be greedy either. And I didn't have the foresight that silver was going to jump up to 100 bucks. Maybe I would have held on to some of those silver coins if I knew that. But like, who actually knows the future? I don't. I try to predict where things might go, right? But I did not see that. You know, even like this last summer, we were kind of trading flat at like 30, 40 bucks, and you know, I thought that was a good time to get out of my silver coins. And then even back here in October and November of last year, we were trading at like 48 bucks. But then this exponential move just came in like November and December. Like, what the hell? Okay, silver. Hussein wants me to do an overview of Google. Sorry, I gotta sneeze. That's me. I don't know, am I getting sick again? Yeah, Hussein, I will take a look at Google for you. Do I do options? I used to when I was younger. I used to trade call options and put options. Now when I do options, I actually just write covered calls where I own the stock already, and you have to own like 100 shares. And then I'll sell call options on it and hope that they expire worthless. And I get to keep the premium. That's how I trade options now. But every now and then I might do something risky where, you know, maybe I'll sell a put option when I see the price drop down to a price where I don't think it's ever going to go down to that price again. But to sell the put options, you have to have cash, right? So you have to already have cash in your account, and you just sell the put options, and you sell the put options, and it gives you more cash. But then you might have to actually close out that position. If you don't, yeah, you definitely want to close out the position before you have to be responsible for honoring the put option contract. All right, let's see. We had a request here for Google or Alphabet, as it's supposed to be said. Google or Alphabet currently trading on the NASDAQ exchange and trading at $318, down 1.78% today. After market hours, pretty much unchanged. And Google, Alphabet, I'm just gonna call it Google. I don't know why they call themselves Alphabet, but whatever. We all still call them Google. We say, oh, let's Google search that, Google search that. Google is actually a bullish asset here, above the 200, the 100, the 50-day moving average, and sometimes you can find Google above the 21 EMA, but right now it's below the 21 EMA. So maybe Google might be a buying opportunity because you're below 21 EMA. All right. And if it just does a mean reversion back to the 21 EMA, it should be back at 332 bucks here. Okay. But I don't see anything bearish about Google just yet. Right? I guess if it takes out the lows here on December 17th at 297, then that's when I start to get worried about Google going down to lower prices here. Because you would think that this thing's going to continue being bullish, it should be making higher lows, not lower lows. And that last higher low that sticks out to me here is 297 on December 17th for Google. And I think that's actually like kind of like, yeah, that's like right where that 50-day moving average is at. So if Google actually continues dropping down to low prices, I would expect people to start trying to buy Google, especially if it's under $300 psychological target. I would expect people to start buying Google at 297 here. That's what I would do, right? Because you haven't really been below the 50-day moving average or touched it. You know, this green line, you haven't touched the 50-day moving average since when? since right here in June of last year, and you would have been buying Google at $169 here, roughly. So, you know, if you get the opportunity to buy Google at that 50-day moving average at 294, 295, I would go ahead and click that buy button. All right, not financial advice, but that's what I would do if I was interested in getting involved here on Google. Now, how much higher could Google go? Well, I kind of already gave you the 21 EMA as a target here, that white line there at 332. Then there's also the all-time high here at 350. I believe that's the all-time high. I don't think Google's ever been this high before. Yeah, 350 is another target to the upside. But let me just do one more thing here. I'm going to pull out the Fibonacci for you. And we'll just measure from this swing low here to this swing high. And it will give me some targets to look for Google to the upside here. And we got a 1272 Fibonacci at $364 is where Google most likely will go if it gets past 350 here. And then there's another target here of 382 bucks at that's your 1618 Fibonacci extension to the upside here for Google. So I'd be paying attention to those numbers if we actually make it. If we're gonna start making new all-time highs, this is where some people might start taking profit. 364, and then also 382. Crypto Coin Mindsets in the chat here on YouTube. Good to see you, Crypto Coin Mindset. And Crypto Coin Mindset says, "Go ahead and smash that like button." Thank you, Crypto Coin Mindset. It's a little bit rough here today. We don't really have as many viewers as we normally do. But I appreciate you coming into the YouTube live stream. I actually got a lot more people showing up here on TikTok. For some reason, I'm just more popular on TikTok. But yeah, on TikTok, I've already got like 13 new followers and 1,400 views here. So I'm a little bit curious what the concurrent. I know I seen myself get up to like 30 concurrent last time I checked TikTok here. Hussein Height says, when do I think Google will hit 332 bucks? Let's see. Where's Google? Google's right now at 318. You're targeting the golden pocket or the 21 EMA. Yeah, I think that's going to be a logical target for us to take profit on Google if that's what you want to do. 332. I mean, that could happen in the next day or two. I mean, look how many candles it took us to lose that. 1, 2, 3, 4. It took us 4 days to get to where we're at, you know, at $318. If you did the same thing going up, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 candles up, maybe later on this week or sometime next week, you'll see 330 bucks here for Google if it's going to climb back up to higher prices here. Hussein says you did a long-term option contract for 1 month, and you sold it. Was it a call or a put option that you did? Just out of curiosity. Benito Marin says, what brokerage account do I recommend? If we're talking about like stocks here, I have Charles Schwab. They've been good. I had Charles Schwab. All right, so at one time I had Scott Trade, and they got bought out by TD Ameritrade, which then got bought by Charles Schwab. So I didn't even, you know, swap or change accounts like that. They did it for me, and I don't have any problems with Charles Schwab. I like the way TD Ameritrade did things back in the day, but they're no longer around, so what can I say? Those are some good accounts. I know some people get involved with Robinhood, but I feel like Robinhood is like more for like the millennials and Gen Zers out there. I haven't really used them. I still have a Robinhood account, but I know some people like using Robinhood. Hussein says it's a call option. Okay, so you sold a call option, so you're hoping that the call option doesn't get that prices actually go down, right? So that way you can just, the call option expires worthless and you can just collect the premium and maybe do it all over again next month with a 325 strike. Okay, So hopefully it doesn't go back up to 325. But if it does, then that call option will be in the money, especially if it does go to like 330. And there's one or two things you could do, right? You could either try to buy the call option back, or you just accept it for what it is, and somebody else gets to execute and buy that call option at 325 when, you know, Google might be at 330 or 340 later on. Crypto Coin Mindset is going live, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go ahead and give a quick shout out to Crypto Coin Mindset, since he just mentioned that information here. So we do have another YouTuber here that is in the chat here, the live chat. And let me just try to see Crypto Coin. Oh wait, no, I spelled it backwards. Crypto Coin Mindset. There we go. But yeah, guys, this is Crypto Coin Mindset. About a couple of thousand subscribers. When I see him go live, he usually goes live with a few other people, and they do like a podcast talking about crypto. Definitely gotta check out his live stream. He says he's gonna go live later on, shortly, like within the next hour or two. CCM, are you still there? But yeah, just be on the lookout. Looks like, oh yeah, I think I see a scheduled live here for 6 p.m. So he'll be going live in like 12 minutes. Probably when I get done would be a good time for you guys to go check out Crypto Coin Mindset's live stream here. Are you going live with a few other people, I'm assuming, on like a podcast format? Looks like CCM, he does do his premieres here Mondays and Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern time, for those that are interested in talking to another guy who is involved in cryptocurrencies besides myself. Alright, there's that shout out, CCM. Maybe I'll come say hello to you on your live stream after I get done with mine. If you're still live streaming, I'll go ahead and check it out. Alright. Hussein, I was asking if you actually sold a covered call option, or did you buy a call option? That's basically what I was asking you. You said you made a long on Google call. All right, so I'm assuming that you sold a call option. Is that what you did, or did you actually go buy a call option from somebody else? That's all I'm asking. I was trying to follow along with what you were saying here. So, anyways, let's see. What's he say? Benito Marin says, no, you meant connect to TradingView. Okay, all right. So yeah, you asking me about brokerages. I'm actually looking at TradingView here, and I don't have my brokerage account linked to TradingView. I think some people do that, but I don't have TradingView linked up to my brokerage account. But I think they give you that. They do give you that option. I gotta go check it out for myself, but I don't feel like I need to. I can just go on like my app on the phone or on the computer and just, you know, enter whatever buys or sells I need to on the actual app itself. All right. Well, we've been live for about almost like an hour and a half. I think we had a pretty good live stream here, guys. We actually started talking about stocks and crypto, and we talked about gold and silver here, so we had a pretty decent live stream, I would say. I'm actually going to try to take a look at the price of Bitcoin on the way out, because I know my cryptocurrency followers, they love talking about Bitcoin here, and they want to know how much lower it's going to go. And my overall thoughts on Bitcoin is that, yeah, you know, Bitcoin looks like it was creating a bear flag here, and if we break out this bear flag, it looks like we could head down to this blue number here at 44K at some point. I'm not sure if that's going to happen this week or next week. Maybe next month it might do that. Give people a good scare. Okay, but there are some other support levels to look for before we hit there. There's a 63K level, which makes sense because I feel like people would buy Bitcoin at 63K and then try to sell it on 126K and try to double their money. So the 63K crowd might start coming in. Let's try to save Bitcoin before it goes lower than that. And then also we did see 60K actually act as support here on Friday. So I think that's another level to look for. So 60K, 63K has to hold, or else we're going to start going to lower prices. I did mark on the chart that there's a level here at 51K from the VRVP indicator here, and we'll just have to see if that actually holds. I don't think that's as strong of a support level as like 43 and 44K. So we shall see. We shall see with Bitcoin. And let's see the momentum on the daily time frame. If we go into the MACD indicator here, the trend is showing that Bitcoin should be going up in price because the selling pressure is dying down. However, you know, we did see selling pressure dying down towards the end of January, only for the selling pressure to start increasing. So it's not an end-all be-all. Things could always change on us, but the trend was showing that Bitcoin should go to higher prices here on the daily time frame. So it's still like up in the air. I think that's why we're having like a battle of the bulls and bears here, because it's like, well, is Bitcoin going to go up or is it going to go down, right? And you're having a battle between the bulls and bears, where the bulls are like, no, Bitcoin at 60K, it shouldn't go any lower than that. And then the bears are saying, well, Bitcoin at 70K, it shouldn't go higher than that. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of a consolidation here between 60 and 70K here. And who knows? I mean, maybe we have to go visit 60K again to see if the bulls really are strong at that level to push us back up to higher prices here. But I know like every time we come up to like 70K, or at least the last couple of days here this weekend, when we went up to like 72K, it's been a problem for Bitcoin to actually go up higher than that, because the bears are pushing us back down to lower prices here. But on the day trading time frames, for my day traders out here, I like to go into the 1 hour time frame. The idea here was that Bitcoin was in a rising wedge. You were making a higher high than you did here on Friday, and then of course you were making higher lows here. Okay, however, looks like we're breaking down out of the rising wedge here, and a rising wedge is usually a bearish pattern. It usually does break down to the downside. So whether it's like a violent, you know, drop, or maybe just going sideways here, it is a bearish pattern here. So we do have to take that into account, that, you know, we should expect Bitcoin to probably go down versus going up if we're just looking at the market structure here. Okay, however, let's look at the momentum indicators to see if Bitcoin could go up to higher prices here in the short to medium term. And it looks like buying pressure was here this morning for Bitcoin, but now we're getting selling pressure coming in, where we're getting a red candle here on the 1 hour time frame, and you're also getting a MACD crossover to the downside on the 1 hour time frame. So I'm expecting Bitcoin to go down, and I'm probably going to enter a short when I get off this live stream here with you guys, because if Bitcoin is going to go down, I would like to make some money. And if it does go down, I think levels to look for is 67K for the day traders here, which is what, only $1,000 away, but I mean, you can still make money day trading that. And then other levels to look for would be that 63K level here. If we're able to actually head down to that level, I would expect shorts to start covering at 63K, and I would expect bulls to start showing up when we get to like 63K one more time, like they did here on Friday. Okay, so we shall see. But right now, I think Bitcoin wants to go down to lower prices tonight. I could be completely wrong, right? There could be a whale out there that just decides they want to buy Bitcoin at 68K and just send the prices up later on tonight and just make me look dumb for saying Bitcoin's going to go down. Okay, but from what I'm seeing on the charts right now, you are making lower highs here in the 1 hour time frame. You are in a bearish market structure. Okay, and what is next? Well, looks like Bitcoin does want to go down. I looked at the momentum indicators, I looked at the MACD indicator, I looked at the market structure, and it's just telling me like all signs are pointing towards Bitcoin going to lower prices, which would be good for those who are looking for cheaper prices on Bitcoin. Okay, so there you go. Let me just catch up on the chat here real quick before I close it out. Diesel says something about Road Dogg. Does Road Dogg ever pop up into my live streams? He does, actually. Sometimes he'll pop up in the afternoon live streams. When he's not doing an afternoon live stream himself, I see him on here. I think I seen him like a week ago or 2 weeks ago pop up. But yeah, it's cool to see when Road Dogg comes in. I just know, I know, being a live streamer, even myself, I do other things besides live streaming, and I'm pretty sure they have busy lives themselves. And when I'm live streaming, when somebody else is live streaming at the same time, it's kind of hard for us to pop up into each other's live streams here. Okay, let's see. Wazir, thank you for following me here on TikTok. Someone says, should you sell your low caps before you lose more on them? You're talking about your low cap cryptocurrencies? Not financial advice, but I would say if you have a cryptocurrency that's not in the top 100 for market cap, then yeah, I would probably get out of those cryptocurrencies before it gets a lot worse. I'm not going to tell you how much to sell or what to sell, but whatever helps you sleep, later on tonight and for the rest of this year, you should probably de-risk if you're worried about your cryptocurrencies and your low caps. Make sure you're not trading with money that you need, right? If you need to pay your bills, make sure you got money to pay your bills, to pay your rent or whatever it is you're doing, because that's not cool, right? Trading and investing with money that you actually need to pay your bills, I mean, you should be using money that you don't really need, and you're just trying to see if you can grow it and actually make it into something where you can actually use it to do something, like put a down payment on a house or pay for your college kids tuition or whatever. But if you're trading and investing with money that you need, you should probably take that out, because it's probably going to get worse here for cryptocurrencies, and the low caps are going to get punished for sure. Maybe you might want to think about maybe just putting it into Bitcoin itself and not doing low caps, because as far as I see it, Bitcoin could go down to 40K, and yeah, that's going to hurt. That's going to be almost like I mean, let me just zoom out here. If we do see Bitcoin go into 40K, how much of a drop is that for Bitcoin from where we are right now? Ooh, it's like a 36% drop. So just know that your altcoins are gonna drop more than that for the most part. But if you can stomach a 36% drop, then maybe Bitcoin might be better than being in the low caps. Okay. But if you're not able to stomach a 36% drop, then maybe you shouldn't really be in crypto at all. Because I think you could see 36K later on this year. I'm sorry. I think you could see 40K later on this year for Bitcoin, and that's going to be a 36% drop from where we are right now. She says, what cycle are we in? Well, the cycles usually go like, we get 3 good years in Bitcoin and then 1 bad year. And right now I think we're in the bad year for Bitcoin, right? Which started, in October of last year. So usually with these bear markets in Bitcoin, they last about a year. So I think people are expecting Bitcoin to be making a bear market low sometime in October of this year. And then remember, we still have to climb out of there to get out of there. So maybe November and December later on this year, it might be a good time to buy crypto at its absolute dirt cheap levels that you can find it at. So that's why I still think there's some buying opportunities later on this year. And I don't want to get too overly bearish, but I just trying to give you guys of what to expect, because I've already been in a couple of bear markets in crypto. I've seen the bear market of 2018. I've seen the bear market of 2022. And I took advantage of the bear market in 2022 by buying Solana at like $13, $16. And I bought Ethereum at $1,000 in 2022. And I bought Bitcoin at 17 grand. I'm not perfect. I didn't get 15 grand. If I did, I mean, you guys would probably think I'm a liar. So yeah, I did not buy Bitcoin at 15 grand, which was the absolute low you could have got it at in 2022. But I did get it at 17K because I knew, like, FTX going bankrupt in 2022 was probably like the last shoe to drop, because we already had a couple of bankruptcies with like 3 Arrows Capital, and we've seen Luna cryptocurrency get blown up. So I just took advantage of the fact that everybody was scared and people were making fun of Bitcoin and crypto. They were making fun of FTX, and I was like, oh, this is a great time to buy. So just be on the lookout for that, you know, later on this year when people are making fun of Bitcoin and crypto, and people are scared of Bitcoin and crypto. That's the time to buy. That's what I was doing 4 years ago. I think that's going to be a good opportunity for you guys. But right now, it's hard because right now, there's a lot of bulls out here that still think we can go back to the all-time highs of 120K. So we got to get those people discouraged. And once they're discouraged and there's, you know, no more bulls left, that's a good time to try to buy crypto, in my opinion here. User 88 with a bunch of numbers. You moving out of everything and going back to Bitcoin. I think a lot of Bitcoin maxis would appreciate that. I think a lot of cryptocurrency OGs will love hearing that as well. Usually you can't go wrong with Bitcoin, especially during the bear market. You can always buy Bitcoin now or later on this year, and then once you know that Bitcoin has bottomed out, once we see things look better on the charts here, then you can go back into buying those altcoins again that you like, and they'll probably be a lot more dirt cheap than what they already are right now. So that's an idea, you know, not financial advice, but maybe going into Bitcoin right now, so you can preserve some of your capital, and then buying altcoins later on this year and next year might be the smart move to do. So, not financial advice. You do whatever you want. I don't want you getting in trouble. I don't want you selling your altcoins and then they go up and then you're like, what the hell? He said go all in on Bitcoin, and my altcoin went to the moon. All right. Another idea is maybe you keep a little bit of your altcoins, maybe like 10 or 20% of what you have right now, just in case your altcoins do go to the moon. You'll have a little bit of exposure to the altcoins, so you can take advantage of any moonshots that they do. All right, yeah, Javi, I will take a look at the messages here on TikTok. Appreciate you letting me know that. And you made a comment on Twitter. Okay, all right, yeah, Javi, we'll talk. We'll talk later. Thank you, Juan Sagira, for following me here on TikTok. And I'm about to close out this live stream right now, guys. So we'll plan on seeing each other same time tomorrow. I might get off to a late start. It might be like a 5 p.m. live stream because I got some things I need to do tomorrow afternoon at the house that I own. Moving some stuff for a tenant that left stuff at the property. I got to get rid of their stuff and bring it to the junkyard. So I'll see how my day goes, but we'll plan on being live again around the same time tomorrow. Might be a late start at 5 p.m. Okay. All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Take care and good luck investing in whatever asset you decide to get into. Take care, guys.